to have to try to dive into a bullet time. They don't want to have to deal with the Kaisa getting really strong here. They want to put 1xN, as you noted, on something like potentially the Ashe, as we see the hover here.
Keystone to take into the Gwen. I don't think you want to take extended trades against her in the long term. Obviously, level 1 might be a different story. Hoya was willing to give a lot of his health just to make sure that Flandre could not get deep into the bottom jungle or the top jungle, but that has now come at the cost of both of their flashes down. Hoya starting to chug pots immediately, and I imagine
free resources over to Nefiri and Gwen. The moment that those two start getting out of control, it becomes a lot more difficult, and Hoya is now sitting at 4 CS and is basically permanently out of this game with 2 levels down already.
Tarzan, nice attempt to try and steal back. Can't really do anything as a jungler. Well, you've already seen that Feather and 1xN have rotated mid lane so that they can be ready to start making their way to the first growth rotation, because it's been
relatively strong wombo. You know, at level 6 for Thunder Talk, if you can, you know, get that Yone ultimate on top of, you know, somebody who either got Ashe arrowed or, you know, Sejuani ultimate, you know, you throw out the R there. Seraphine's going to be able to combo off of it. Galio's going to be able to hit the knockup. There are plenty of ways for Thunder Talk to slowly chip back in this game. I think 6, you certainly don't want to give over 5 if you're going to contest, but we see the teleport coming in.
It's Flandre. KL leads with the Pop Blossom, and 1xN is the target that has to pay the price for the rest of Thunder Talk, who are trying to now escape. Beichuan still has a flash. There's so much CC on the side of Thunder Talk that I'm surprised that Hope did not go cleanse this game, but, you know, it might just be a sign that one of them is going to have to get a Mikhail's Crucible for him, as Hoya is already taking a lot of damage from Flandre. This is a Hollow Radiance against, you know, 2 subcomponents on the side of Flandre. But
as I say that, we see a play on the top side onto Flandre.
Oh, great arrow by 1xN. Flandre even tried to dodge it, but still got clipped. This is going to be a nice pickup for Thunder Talk, and a shutdown ideally would have been nice in Satab's pockets, but you know what? We'll see if H1 can make use of the extra bit of gold. Meanwhile, the rest of Anyone's Legend say, sorry, Flandre, but your death will not be in vain. We just got the mid-tier 1.
Yeah, certainly not a bad fight, but it's not over just yet. Tarzan jumping onto Feather, and he can keep going.
5,000 HP. You see Shanks trying to threaten on that top flank. The rest of Anyone's Legend threatening below. A teleport is coming in from Hoya to help reinforce with the rest of the escape. They turn onto KL. He flashes away. The Pop Blossom doesn't really clip anyone. It's used defensively, but Shanks is still threatening on the top side. They turn right onto the Ninja, and Shanks gets popped, and now suddenly, just like this is where Thunder Talk can thrive. A 5-man unit all working cohesively together.
Tarzan!
But then you throw in the Hound's pursuit from Tarzan, and he's going to pull Thunder Talk apart. He's still got that dog in him, and 1xN has no ground to run from. Anyone's Legend pick up an ace and only drop 2. Both of the compositions stylistically thrive at different peaks throughout the course of the fight. When Thunder Talk are able to deal with one of the threats, isolate them as a 5-man unit, then they're able to reestablish battle lines and things look okay. But then Anyone's Legend re-engage, not with 1 threat, but 2 threats in the Nefiri and the Gwen, and suddenly the whole composition, which thrives on being a 5-man unit, pulls apart, and then, yeah, the rest is history.
Yeah, definitely agree, and I think a very important thing for AL that really just kind of cements their pretty strong lead here is just how much of the gold went on to Hope in that Talk to win. And we see that 3rd dragon now going over to the side of AL.
Yeah, 6,000 gold advantage for Anyone's Legend at 19 minutes in the game. A minute away from the Otacon spawning. Already 2 items have been completed on the likes of Shanks, who is already using the power of that. You know what? Tarzan definitely made me believe that he was going to go for it. He is 2 items, and Hoya is unfortunately very poor on this Galio compared to the rest of the curve of the map. But because they forced away the big tank in Hoya away from the top side of the map, and Beichuan is on the bot side, this is a free Otacon for Anyone's Legend.
Yeah, it's just objective after objective after objective going over to the side of AL at this point. You know, sacking the grubs early turned out to be fine. They're stacking that dragon up, which Soul is going to be spawning in about 2.5 minutes. They're going to have Otacon for it. And this is going to be a pretty scary proposition for Thunder Talk. I think when you
take at least for the next 2 minutes, and engage from Zatab trying to lock down Flandre, who now has the assistance of Beichuan, almost dies to Flandre in the back, but he's able to snap back with the Soul Unbound, and Beichuan finishes the job.
Yeah, it's on here, and that's definitely going to be the primary objective, it looks like, for both of these teams moving forward.
Yeah, and you can see that the... Hang on.
Oh, they were spotted. I don't think they
KL.
know, though.
Yeah, it's KL as, or no, wait, where is KL? KL is impersonating Shanks at the moment. Dude, it's so hard to keep track of Nico sometimes. Oh, Beichuan knew someone was in the brush there. He throws out the Glacial Prison, and they jump right onto the main Pop Blossom Engager. No chance for a Nico ultimate to be used this game. Hope forced to flash away. In the thick of it is Shanks, but dies early. Now it's up to Flandre and Tarzan to turn the fight because Hope cannot participate. But don't tell me they win a 2v5, right? But Beichuan already lost. Flandre finally dies, but now Tarzan is able to find one back onto Feather. Satab, below 50% HP. But they don't have a jungler anymore, so Tarzan is trying to stay in range so that he could threaten with a smite steal. Satab tries to step up, looks for the flash, misses completely. The Soul Unbound will take him back, but Tarzan is able to use the Call of the Pack to dodge the last bit of damage. Hope now Hope has arrived back to the fight, and they're trying to cut them off now. Beichuan still not going to spawn for another 13 seconds.
This is a very dangerous situation for both of these teams. Hope has got to have some fancy footwork here.
I hope they're keeping track of the Ash Arrow cooldown because it's going to come up sooner or later. The flash from Hope, but it's Hoya that gets pounced by KL, who finally comes back from the grave with the Pop Blossom. 1xN isolated for Tarzan to sink his dog fangs into, and Thundertalk have completely collapsed under the pressure of anyone's legend.
Oh, they just didn't have enough. They barely didn't have enough firepower to be able to close out that fight the first time. Tarzan ends up surviving. Hope survives on the back end of that fight after Beichuan dives him. It looked so good, but we're not even done. Feather is getting jumped.
Tarzan will not allow any mercy to be shown on the Rift today. Thundertalk won't even get a chance to contest and look for a flip of a smite steal as Tarzan and Shanks are going to force out the Piggy Rider away from the Dragon Pit, find themselves another kill to claim. 8-0-6 on this Neferi board. So TT know that this is happening. The question is, can they do anything about it? Beichuan gonna try to walk up, stunned up by KL, the Pop Blossom, sidestep. Beichuan can get in. Oh, it was so close, but Tarzan secures the Baron. Now Beichuan is overextended for it, and Hoya! Oh no, I don't know if that was the hero's entrance you wanted to take, but I respect that you're not gonna let your comrade go down without, you know, some companionship at death's door. Thundertalk now down to 3 members, actually 2, because Feather died off screen somehow. I didn't catch that at all, but yeah, Super K-Man rocks 11,000 gold advantage for anyone's legend. I think this is game.
Yeah, this was a dominant performance from anyone's legend. We got to see their star players, the ones we were hyping up, really perform, really show up here, and I don't think Satab and 1xN are quite going to be enough to be able to stop this push into the base.
Yeah, I would not imagine it. Oh, Tarzan, this is just rude, man.
Yeah, disrespect.
Oh, they got close to killing 1xN, but GG, well played. Anyone's legend take the first game against Thundertalk.
Really awesome game number 1 from AL. You can praise almost every aspect. Note there's going to be a very easy way for them to be able to deal with him moving forward, and what we've already seen in terms of the hand stiff between these two teams could make that even more difficult.
Yeah, on the one hand,
Thundertalk need to start getting the ball rolling. If they're going into the mid to late game here at gold neutral with Misfortune and Talia as your mid bot lane, like, that's just not necessarily what you want. You got Jace on the top side as well. Even Brand isn't going to have the easiest time in the back half of this game. There is so much pressure.
They want to be proactively using that ability to roam around the map.
AL's proactive, though.
Yeah, that's right. Anyone's legend making the first move once again, and that rock will hit the cow in the back of the head, and the Ignite from KL claims first blood.
Yeah, a really smart play there from AL, and it's not over. The bullet time has to try to clear this wave, but I don't think it's going to be enough.
KL will give his life under the tower to ensure that anyone's legend get the second kill onto 1xN.
Start to feel here. They do have the 5 grubs, and I think at this point, trying to play for Talia, just moving around into every lane that she possibly can is really the option for this team. Jace still has quite a bit of combat power. So we see 1xN. Oh, no. Oh, through his head. That's a pretty major mistake. It's a 3-second dragon here for AL. It likely would have been that anyways, but Hope is now in a really great position. The CS difference is ginormous for Thundertalk to actually be able to catch, but Beichuan. Oh, Tarzan?
That might have not been the ideal target you can get. Beichuan trades one back under Tarzan before falling to the onslaught of Hope and KL. Oh,
the
my
flash!
goodness, Hope! Just just like Legolas at Helm's Deep finds a critical arrow, putting into the back of 1xN, even with the flash burned by the misfortune.
Damage with Hope here, but it really is a great bullet time from 1xN to be able to burst down that Skarner. Unfortunately, KL is able to make his way in, but there's a fight already.
Tarzan rams H1 right back into the other side of that wall. Rift Herald is in the middle of this fight, which is very chaotic at the moment. Hoya trying to get some damage with that accelerated shock blast, flashing to the safety of Satab, but now they are both pinned in the back of this Baron pit. Satab flashing over the wall, tries to get away, but he's on the
right there to be able to, keep things alive, and Beishuan's just not able to survive the income. But look at Kyle here, flashing out to keep himself safe, but on the re-engage, it's perfect, but we're already back to live.
Unfortunately, Super K-Man rocks. The rule of LPL is you don't get the chance to talk about replays that often because we're still fighting just seconds after as Feather drops to Hope once again. Actually, it was Beishuan that dropped. Hope had, or Feather had died some time ago, and everyone's just dropping on the side of Thunder Talk. Anyone's Legend up 1,000 gold, so it doesn't seem like Satab is in immediate danger on that bottom side lane, but 3 dragons to Anyone's Legend's name. Flandra, starting up the fight with the Between Worlds. Beishuan is caught between pretty much every single member of Anyone's Legend on the top side of the map. Feather doing at the beginning has now ballooned larger and larger, and they have found themselves in a sunk cost fallacy where this is the only way they can get back in. However, Anyone's Legend have just as powerful tools to be able to sink into the hearts of Thunder Talk members one by one. Feather has a flash available. I don't know if he has ultimate available. Yeah, he's not even popping it if he did have it available because he knows that it would just be futile. Probably just wants to save it for the next big objective fight. But Super K-Man rocks. I am having trouble believing that Thunder Talk have really any say. This is pretty much Anyone's Legend game to win or lose.
Yeah, I mean, oh man, just Hoya barely getting out of there. Once again, we see that mid-tier 2 falling. Dragon spawning in 2.5 minutes. I think if Infernal Soul is acquired by Anyone's Legend, even if they're just able to set up around it and be first to the objective, I see no way for Thunder Talk to be able to initiate that in any clean way. Just coping and praying, but once again, Beishuan just too far forward.
Yeah, I mean, there comes a point in time in a game where it seems like the fights are already predictable from the start. And when you have Shanks leading the fight with an Alistar ultimate, he can just get away with things like this. He's not taking any damage. KO runs them through with a giant Keeper's Verdict, sending them to the sky. And Hope with the arrow.
That fight, but once again, back to live.
I mean, TT are trying to fight for their right to stay within their side of the jungle. But unfortunately for them, that jungle does not belong to you anymore. The flash from Tatab to avoid the impale. Bullet time plus the pyroclasm from Beishuan will at least do a lot of damage. Actually, that wasn't even the pyroclasm. It was just a little bit of that burn damage. Since he just threw it out against Shanks and Flandra, they've been chunked down on the backside, but Hope is still healthy. Take their bases right now because they probably have gold to spend and would rather try and maximize their item spikes before what could be the more important fight around Otacon on the bottom side of the map or Baron on the top side. And there's a window here where Thunder Talk are going to get a decent amount of damage on this tier 2, completely taking it out thanks to the fact that they have 5 grubs. Meanwhile, Feather, Hex Flash on the KL, forced to flash away. Keeper's Verdict winding up, batter up. Who's he going to swing for? It hits no one. Tarzan now in the base. Now, you don't want to be there. Uh-oh, and now Hope has been isolated because the rest of his front line went way south. Flandra teleports in, but it's too late. The AD carry for Anyone's Legend has been taken out by Thunder Talk, and now this is where confidence can start to settle in. There's no more Varus. Maybe there's a chance you can at least set up positioning around Baron.
Yeah, I think there is something building here for Thunder Talk. Again, you need miracles in order to get back into this game. They might have been gifted, at least a tiny one, by Anyone's Legend in that fight. Hope kind of being left alone on the back end there. It's really easy to be able to capitalize, but we're going to see the Baron dance now.
Shanks pressuring on the left flank. Feather goes in for a knock-up on the Tarzan. Good seismic shove combo. Already lost 50% of his HP, but now Shanks is solo diving the backline with the power of that All-Star ultimate at his side, and Flandra throws down the Between Worlds, pops all of them like balloons, and Tatab is suddenly the only TT member left standing. A valiant attempt by the Thunder Talk squad to see if they could find a miracle in a play where Hope is not involved, but unfortunately for them, Anyone's Legend still just as strong with only 4 men.
absolutely disgusting from Shanks. He goes in 1v5 into the middle of the enemy team with an Alistar ultimate, and he heals through every bit of damage that is put out by Thunder Talk. Just a brilliant fight, highlighting what we talked about in draft, where that Sylas is so difficult to deal with in the back half of the game. And while respawn timers are coming up, it feels like that might have been probably the third or fourth nail in the coffin here for Thunder Talk. Technically is an objective that could be taken. I'm not sure if AL need it, but they're certainly going to prioritize it.
Holy moly. Shout out to the observers from LPL who showed us that Feather was forced to pop the Alistar ultimate just because a combo was coming in from Hope, and could have possibly just completely one-shot Feather on that rotation. That gives AL enough priority to just start up the Baron for free. KL finding an engage here. Keeper's Verdict onto 2 members. Feather and Satab in trouble. There's the Chain of Corruptions. Lands onto Satab. Hope doesn't have that Piercer Arrow winding up just until now. Oh, that's a lot of damage. Good night, Baitron. Shanks comes in for the cleanup crew. And 1xN, at least for now, he's able to skirt on by away from danger. But now he is tasked with the impossible alongside Hoya, and that is defending 2v5 against anyone's legend.
How are you even supposed to play these fights out if you're Thunder Talk? The bullet time going to come down. Shanks is going to pop the stopwatch. That's the last real bit of damage that Thunder Talk had, and it looks like it is going to be a base collapse here. The teleport coming back in from Flandra. It's going to be full health.
Shanks is just going to rip the Jace ultimate for fun, throws out an accelerated shock blast to put some damage into the back of Hoya's head. The Nexus turrets are falling. Nice two-man impale from Tarzan, and that should be the final nail in the coffin for Thunder Talks' chances. Anyone's legend, sweep them in the series.
What a dominant 2-0 from anyone's legend. An absolute master with the Galio so that you can move around the map. I think if you are looking for an advantage, I'm just such a big fan of putting Rookie on something that can be so aggressive. And, you know, Talia Xin Zhao is game. I certainly think they're easier for Ninjas in Pajamas to execute with the Leona and with the Galio.
Here comes Aki. He does have the ultimate available. The Shy again with no mana, so not going to be able to knock anybody away. He flashes away from his turret, and that could be bad news bears here. The Shy goes down, and it's first blood to NIP. This bottom side, Doinby going to join as well. Notably, on that top side play, Rookie threw out the Weaver's Wall. Didn't end up actually taking it, and so this is going to be a big numbers advantage once again for Ninjas in Pajamas. Mako's already dead. They go in onto Gala as well. It's a 2-for-1, but NIP will take that.
It's a major notch in Ninjas in Pajamas cap.
Yeah, and so once we get back here to live, it will be JJ securing the dragon on the bottom side, but that means that NIP are going to get 5 out of the 6 grubs. Aki off to a pretty good start into this game, and we say once...
You know, on top of that, Invictus, I think, is looking a lot bigger picture. I can understand why they would personally prioritize the dragon stacking a little bit more. So we see Doinby take the top tower here in exchange for presumably the bot tier 1. Next wave at the very least, but you know, I think it makes sense for both teams to be able to make this exchange. I'm just interested to see if at any point Ninjas in Pajamas are going to want to try and stop that dragon stacking, or if they're going to be more than happy to just try to play the side lanes.
Right now the side lane's working well for NIP. They have the Rift Herald as well if they want to try to break open.
Yeah, it definitely looks like something's happening here.
PP God's going in onto JJ, followed in by that Hero's Entrance with a nice seismic shove, finds 2 for Rookie. PP God in a lot of trouble. The Ignite's taking him down. He flashes away, should be able to survive, but no, the last tick from Mako ends up finishing the job. Now it's Shanji in a bit of trouble in a 1v4. Aki dashes in as well. He's untargetable for a little bit. Doinby doesn't find anybody with the taunt, and NIP now on the retreat. The Shy looking to try to continue.
To see Aki get a little bit more involved. It felt like they blew a lot of their cooldowns early on. We'll see if they're able to kind of repeat that performance here.
So now the dragon is up. NIP want to make sure that that soul point does not go over to IG. Some of those crucial cooldowns, though, just coming back up for Invictus. And so that means that they're going to go back in. Nice hook here from Mako. And they found Leave. That's Rookie picking up a huge chunk of gold. And that means that IG are going to be able to take this dragon easily.
Yeah, that's a fantastic pick coming in from both Rookie and Mako to be able to lock that up. This dragon is gigantic. Ninjas in Pajamas look like they're going to try and siege down mid, but PP God too far forward.
He just went too far. Nicely done by Rookie to clear out the wave and make it a sticky situation for NIP. And all of a sudden, Ninjas in Pajamas could be falling apart. Shanji now gets hit up by the seismic shove. He's going to use the public execution in onto the Shy. There comes Shanji in with Aki to finish off that kill. Another pocket the ultimate is available for Aki, but now Shanji's still in some trouble. He gets shoved right back in. That is another kill picked up for Rookie, and now Aki is the next target. Depth charge goes on top of him. He goes invulnerable, but only for a little bit longer. Hail of arrows dances down on top of him. He's got to continue to try to make those plays happen. We got Baron spawning in 30 seconds. NIP want to try to find a way to bounce back. They might be in some trouble here. Chain of Corruption lands here from Gala. It's matched up by a boatload of crowd control and the Shock Blast from over the top as well. Gala will pick up the kill as Doinby just dies for free.
He was in purgatory there. No chance to move, no chance to do anything. Perfect call out there on the Baron timer. We'll see if they want to go for it. And Fury potentially trying to pull back some damage here. Dragon won't be up for another 2.5 minutes. That's a very big pick, but he will be back up on the map in 25 seconds with ultimate. They're going to make a play. They have to do it now.
Nice buffer from Leave. Gets away here from that dredge line of Mako, and so it means that IG just have priority around the mid lane, but don't have any kill threat onto any of NIP's players. So another chunk of gold going right back to Invictus Gaming. SK Man, we were waiting for them to become a little bit more active here in this game number 1, and they certainly have done so over these last few minutes.
Yeah, I've been so impressed with how they've played out the second part of this mid game. The last, 5 or 6 minutes, this felt like a team that really was just slowly losing, death by 1,000 cuts, and they've been able to really pull back a lot of the advantages and a lot of the momentum that they needed to generate earlier on in the game. Rookie in particular has been excellent, but Jeja could be too far forward here. We'll see if they want to capitalize.
Oh, wow. Yeah, going very aggressive in onto Shanji, and the Weavers will actually cuts the Mbessa off. Doesn't even get a chance to proc the ultimate. He's already dead. Rookie picks up the kill, and now Doinby is in a lot of trouble here. Could be matched here by Aki. He gets another reset on the ultimate, but it's still overall a 2-for-1 in favor of Invictus Gaming. Most notably, though, Jeja is down, which means the Otacon could be a little bit risky, so instead, IG want to continue the fight. Depth charge lands. It's followed up by a beautiful engage from Rookie, and Leave will get taken down as well. Doinby and Aki now forced to run for the hills.
Situation for Aki. He's going to have to try to get in there. You cannot allow this Mountain Dragon, but it's going down low, and looks like they're just going to give it.
So risk assessment, not worth it. Most notably, PP God coming off a reset. He was not even, and they are looking dominant.
It looks like this could just be full positioning coming in from IG in the Weaver's wall.
Oh, Leave shifts over the wall. PP God and Shanji forced to go in. Knockup is huge though from Doinby. He lands a 4-man taunt, and NIP are right back into this fight. Aki dashes forward. The Shy is low, and the Shy will bleed almost to death. He's finally able to go down, but it's still a 3v3 on the map. Doinby barely gets away from the dredge line, and IG somehow make that an even fight off of the back of Gala of his own. However, the rest of NIP not here just yet, as that Otacon is ticking down. Teleport finally going to come in from Doinby. He has the ultimate up in 5. Otacon's at 3,000 HP. Aki jumps over the wall. It's going to be a flip. Who's going to get it? It's secured by NIP. And now, as the Blood Roses form, the fight continues to break out. A taunt finds Gala, and he's shut down by the Nefiri. Looking at going on to Rookie next. Shanji is still massive on the front line, and NIP find the fight. They find the Otacon, and they'll pick up the Blood Roses as the reward.
A gorgeous fight from Ninjas in Pajamas. So much setup and so much execution. You get Doinby teleporting at the perfect time. Aki getting into the Otacon pit at the perfect time to be able to secure it at around 700 health. I'd love to see where so much damage was coming from. I have to imagine Leave was just pumping out damage on the back half of that fight, but we might not have time. We're immediately into Baron.
Should be rather easy for NIP to pick up. Rookie has teleport in 20 seconds, but that Baron will be long gone before then. NIP, couple of mid-game fights, a couple of late-game fights, all they needed. And they suddenly have themselves the gold lead once again. The Shy trying to get a tier 2 turret in response, but likely will pay for it with his life as Shanji TP's behind him. As the Shy going to try to make it a one-way trip. Nice accelerated Shock Blast, picks up PP God, but he will die in response. Shanji will dash forward with the E.
From all 5 members, and it really has been a bit of an execution diff in the back half of this game.
And after some pretty bad positioning mistakes that led to IG getting slowly coming into fruition, as Gala is really doing a nice job with these piercing arrows.
Yeah, and they are going to be first to start this Elder Dragon. NIP is still here, but PP God is a little bit low. Does make this engage a bit trickier. Galio still pushing down on the bot side. The ultimate is available. We are going to likely see it very shortly. We're going to see the call made. PP got so low, though.
Yeah, the Weaver's Wall is going to come out to try to separate people. Shanji dashes forward. It's going to be matched up by Doinby and knocks up 3, but there's not a lot of follow-up thanks to the Weaver's Wall of Rookie. And Shanji will go down first in the fight. PP God gets bursted down. Doinby's forced to go golden. IG are winning out on this one, man. A shutdown goes towards the Shy. Rookie's very low. JJ is as well. And
Leave.
Go forward. Leave has the chance to go crazy here in a 2v4. First engage will be on Agala. He's down. But now the hook lands. But it's not going to matter. Leave shifts over the wall. Leave's popping off. One more Mystic shot will do. But it does not find its mark on a Rookie. And so NIP will still have the numbers advantage. They still should make their way onto the Elder Dragon off of some heroics from Aki and Leave.
How is it possible that Ninjas in Pajamas walk out of that fight being able to take this Elder Dragon? Things looked dire. PP God was at a quarter of his health bar at the beginning of the fight. Shanji goes in and hopes and prays that the Galio ultimate will let him survive.
Aki's had himself a very good go of things, going towards that Guardian Angel for his last item. And so NIP with the Elder buff, going to start up this Baron Nashor. Now the Elder's only on a couple of players. Aki and Leave the only ones to have it, but those are certainly good members to possess the burn.
Yeah, it definitely feels like this should just be Ninjas in Pajamas. There's no way to really contest this, but Jeja's gonna try.
They're gonna try to dash in there, but not gonna have enough room. The sacrifice will be PP God, but it looks like Ninjas in Pajamas want to continue the push. Onto the Shy they go with the knock-up landing. Public execution only onto one, and so Shanji will potentially get bursted down, but there goes Aki. There's the Fury, and Leave and Aki once again are gonna reign supreme, nearly winning the team fight by themselves. Now it's a 2v1. Aki still has the executes, and Rookie will not succumb, but JJ will, as Aki smites him from above.
Aki absolutely dominating. The dogs are barking here tonight. Nefiri has looked unstoppable so far today. And if you want to see a performance worthy of saying that a champion is imbalanced, you just saw it in front of your very eyes. Of course, you got to give credit to Aki, but the Nefiri, that fight looking disastrous for NIP, diving onto the backline and being able to destroy everyone with the damage that was output. The inhibitor will be the prize. Elder Dragon will be up again.
Raiji, they don't want to rule themselves out of this one just yet. They still have the Mountain Soul. They still have Rookie getting close to a field build on his own. They're going to have to play around the poke composition that they've set up for themselves, because right now in a full 5v5, they definitely can't do anything if it was an even game state.
Yeah, it's just a really difficult spot to be in if you're IG. Your entire comp relies on being able to have pressure and have tempo, you know, to be able to poke out with things like Jason, Varus, and to be able to move around the map with Talia. You just don't have that option here, but they might have found a pick.
They find PP God. However, we matched by the hero's entrance of Doinby, so once again in a 4v5, NIP want to go for the kills. Public execution comes in. Shanji gonna get knocked up with a really nice step charge. Aki in some trouble now. Aki forced to flash away, and now IG winning the fight. Two already go down, and Gala picks up the big. They are having that numbers advantage for another 30 seconds. The Shy, the Gala continue to issue on that poke. Teleport comes in from Rookie. They're gonna try to burst down this mid inhibitor. Don't think it should be the end of the game, given that Aki and Leave are the ones alive, and they're the strongest members of Ninjas in Pajamas, but that is a big turnaround here for Invictus Gaming. They still are down 7,000 gold. Let's check just a little bit of the True Shot Barrage comes out and actually burns away all those Mountain Dragon shields. More poke comes out. Leave with the Mystic Shots now can issue some firepower back on his own. The Elder Dragon is alive, but nobody wants to start it up just yet. Battle lines have been drawn. NIP looking to engage. PP God finds the initial start of the team fight, and that is Gala getting bursted down. Sorry, the Shy is the one who dies first in the fight. PP God gets knocked up at 3 talent strike. The target now being Leave, but he flashes away. And now a numbers advantage in for NIP. Leave still doing so much damage here with these Mystic Shots. Doinby dashing away. As JJ is still alive, the Elder Dragon's still up. I don't think NIP are going to want to flip this, but here they go. They start this one up.
They're starting it. I can't believe that they're starting it here. This is a true flip coming in. A very risky move as we see IG actually have priority here. Aki's at half health.
This is where Gala can try to do some work here. The piercing arrows before the fight could begin. A teleport has come in. It is going to be Doinby rejoining the fight at full HP. As the Elder Dragon not reset just yet. Still a 4v5. The Shy respawning in 18 seconds. He's not going to be a factor here. PP God, the first to get engaged upon by Mako. The Elder's at 6,000 HP. JJ looking to go back in. PP God gets poked down to oblivion. And now another hook lands on to Shanji. He's forced to dash away. Elder's at 2,000. JJ steals the Elder. And now Doinby is going to be at the mercy of Invictus Gaming, and the Elder Dragon burns. Leave shifts forward, picks up one. Aki and Leave still so big, but the Elder is going to reign supreme. There's another Unraveled Earth. There is Gala picking up a 1,000 gold shutdown, and Invictus Gaming somehow come back. They steal away the Elder Dragon, and they are going to march into the mid lane with super minis to try to take game 1.
And just like that, one bad engage, one mistake getting poked out a little bit too much at the beginning of a fight. It costs everything for Ninjas in Pajamas. They're sieging down the Nexus turret. Shanji by himself in the base. He is not going to be enough with the Elder buff. And a game that looked like it would be a guaranteed win for Ninjas in Pajamas. They're up 3k gold right now as their Nexus is destroyed.
Back and forth we went. That is classic LPL gameplay for you. As IG, in what I think was
quite a few options. Not only do I think they should have priority in a lot of these lanes, you know, Sion is generally going to be fine on the top side into Renekton. You're not super worried about that. I like the way bot lane is...
leave, or even a frontline member like Shanji can make a fight really easy if you're IG.
Yeah, I think... So we see more aggression coming in on Nemeko here, actually.
Oh, he actually flashes away to try to get Lee stunned up into the wall. One more double up, and Gala picks up first blood. PP God with the crash down is going to try to burn Gala down as Aki, the first juggler here in the fight. The Eep comes down, and it makes it a 1-for-1. It's a little bit faster, and now JJ has a chance to potentially match with a play on the top side. Really nice steadfast presence from Mako to prevent Leave from Valken away, and that should almost assuredly be the kill. The Shy, the one to pick it up.
Yeah, they are
that dragon going over to NIP, so maybe a slight consolation.
They just wanted to try to get to their power spikes. Ninjas in Pajamas have maybe not been as aggressive. I say that, though. Yeah, they are in the mid lane. Between worlds, OPLoLReplay comes out, and that is Aki. He's staying in the area. Jeja might try to look to flip this, but it is going to be a disengage. I got concerned that Ninjas in Pajamas were looking there. Didn't think that was a good opportunity.
Well, the Poppy is burning. Will it be enough? There's the flash, and that will be the Feat of Warfare secured by Ninjas in Pajamas, and now the Shy has the Dominus Pop, but he's now fighting a 1v3. He slices and dices to safety, and will get out with his life. They're going to have first move, as Gala and Mako are here first. Shy also crashing a wave in, and with Shanji going back to base, we'll see how much NIP want to contest it. Teleport does come out. PP God looking for the engage, stuns up JJ first. There's the bang into the wall, and the impale, and that's the big carry down for NIP.
PP God!
Aki is shut down. PP God goes in for a massive engage. Mako, though, with the Keeper's Verdict, will yeet one right to back out, as Shanji is now going to have to run back to try to save and see him peel for Doinby and Leave. The decimating higher impact for Gala and IG over Leave in that engage, as you say. And so the dragon has been spawned once more. Both teams have one apiece, but I think NIP this time would rather focus their resources elsewhere. Shanji hitting on that top side tier 1 turret. Leave should be able to get the tier 1 down bottom as well. And so with that dragon...
These objectives come up. We'll see if Invictus can actually take advantage of some of that, because there was quite a few resources expended, but as we get closer and closer to vision and get rid of it, looks like it's going to be going down.
Yeah, it looks like Mako's ultimate is canceled by the unstoppable onslaught of Shanji, and here we go. Doinby dashes in, then dashes right back out with the Between Worlds. Dragon at 4,000. Aki flashes forward. The Lilting Lullaby only lands onto Rookie, but it pushes all of IG away. JJ doesn't want to get into the pit. He doesn't want to flash in, and so will be secured here by Ninjas in Pajamas, and now they're looking for more. Rookie forced to flash away. Aki unstoppable here in this front line, looking to try to burst him down. Doinby takes down Mako first, and IG are now on the run, but here comes the Impale.
Shockwave!
Gonna be able to do a lot of damage here as well. The Shockwave comes out from Rookie already, and now the Shy is still alive. He lands a stun only on a PP God, and finally the bullet time comes out.
Potential bullet time ultimate, but and we immediately come back to Gala falling.
Yeah, Shanji with the ulti just takes him down underneath the turret. Now a numbers advantage for NIP, although Leave is low. The Shy in some trouble now as he was trying to go for a flank, has to pop the dominance, but it's just not enough. Leaves picks up another kill. They're going to burn down this mid lane tower, and that's a big swing of things for Ninjas in Pajamas.
Potentially as well.
Oh, Mako, he sends Leave away, makes a 4v4 at least for a little bit. Doinby targeted here by Mako, as in goes JJ as well with the Ixtal's impact. Shockwave finds 2, but only onto Aki and PP God, and they don't die too quickly. The Otacon first takes down PP God. Teleport comes in from the Shy. He's looking to join the fight. Otacon at half HP, and now IG are the ones who are going to be able to control it.
That was a brilliant Poppy ultimate coming in from Mako. Completely lets Invictus establish pressure by getting Leave out of that situation. Means there's no damage coming in from this. Yeah, this is scary here. If you are Invictus Gaming, you leave the Misfortune on the Dragon to be able to take it, but you lost your Otacon buff. This is no longer an advantage for Invictus Gaming. You have no AD carry here. You're going to try to get NIP off of this, and you will successfully be able to do so, but make sure you don't overstep. And overall, it is still just Dragon for nothing. You know, at the end of the day, it's what we expected the trade to be, but potentially see another dive here from Jeje. Nothing to see, though.
Yeah, looks like Mako with the ulti. There's really not much to fight over, though, so I can't imagine either side being super willing to go for anything unless they're just feeling antsy.
Well, in IG in particular, they really have no reason to try and engage here, but they're going to look for it anyways.
Hey, why not? Here goes JJ. We're going to fight for the blue buff now. Aki pops the Zhonya's early. He should be targeted. He uses the flash. Lilting Lullaby only lands onto one, and he burns before the sleep. He can't even connect. In comes Shanji, though, with the unstoppable onslaught. Will it be enough? There's the bullet time coming out for Gala. Not going to lock down a target just yet. Leave. Still untouched. He's got himself a double kill. Rookie going to try to lock down PP Guy. That will be the trade. Overall, 2 for 2 with Leave. Dragon now up and available and could be for the taking if it's IG.
Yeah, it's so risky to try and find an opportunity to get in here, but we're going to see if it's made. PP God.
Engaged. The Shy just goes a little bit too far forward. The Shy is down. It's going to be matched here by the Impale only on the PP God. They will be able to take the Rel down most likely, but there's not enough damage on him just yet. He's living for so long and actually chunks Gala out a little bit in the meantime. Leave throwing out those rockets, and now is it a 4v4 support for top laner in favor of NIP in terms of the numbers and in terms of the strength currently on the board? So onto the Dragon they go. It's at 4,000
burning
HP.
down.
JJ has no way to get into the pit, and it's going to be secured here by NIP. And now they're looking for the fight. Leave dashes in on the Rookie, force him to use the shockwave defensively, and the sleep will land onto 2. That's Gala going down. That's 4 kills for Ninjas in Pajamas as Leave picks himself up a double kill into Baron Nashor they go.
Leave and Aki, they have gotten online for the 2nd game in a row and are once again able to establish a ton of pressure, a fight that looked like it could be a little bit dicey. They're able to pick up the Shy early on with a nice engage from PP God.
And that caused all the chaos that made IG end up in a pretty bad position. So that's the Baron, now in the hands of NIP. They're up about 2,000 gold at this point. Going to want to try to burst that one open a little bit more. The tier 2 should go down. And Stonebeat dashes up. IG, they just need to find that moment, but they haven't had it just yet.
Yeah, this is a tough play to play for IG. You're hoping and praying that somebody oversteps, because really, again, they still have the Wombo combo. As much as they are down in resources, they're only down 3k gold, and these are pretty easy, squishy targets to blow up if you can land a Skarner ultimate. You can't make a mistake if you're Ninjas in Pajamas, but if you're IG and they're playing safe, it's really difficult to punish from this position.
More towers being taken. IG easily, defended or countered by what NIP have to offer. And so with the Baron buff expired, it still is Shanji and the rest of NIP actually going forward. Once again, forcing the initiative and separating Rookie from the rest of the team. He's in a lot of trouble, but he is able to get the shockwave in onto Doimi, followed up here by Mako. Bullet time, though, not finding much as Gala is just so exposed with the way that the team fight has now been set up. That's all the crucial ultimates down. PP God finds a big Magnet Storm, and now this is NIP's turn to go for a big play. Sleep lands onto JJ. Mako forced to low HP. Gala is down as Doimby picks up the kill. Leave is in trouble, but Leave will not fall as he'll get the kill onto the Shy who tries to dash in on top of him. Mako will burn down, and that's the game. We are headed to a decider between NIP and IG.
Everything you've been leading up to, Graves, it all came to fruition in that team fight. The disconnect coming in from Invictus Gaming, not being able to play on the same front. Rookie immediately gets disconnected from the entire team as we see them tearing down the base here. Jeje has to go and save him, and that leaves Gala exposed. Looks like they are going to be able to pick up the kills here on Rookie and on Jeje. That's going to be the game for game number 2. Beautiful stuff from NIP.
Generally, though, they're focused on picks, with things like the Jhin and the Silas in side lanes and the Maokai even throwing setups up and side laning, whereas IG...
Use the flash, and you use the flash. It's a lot of summoner spells, and it's heal burned by Mako as well. A lot of resources expended, and the play's not done!
Rookie. He's got no flash, and he's got no life! It's Aki picking up first blood. With a really big CS lead early on in this one. It's 16 in their favor.
Yeah, we do see the Dragon going down, but significantly different timer behind. It's a full completed Triforce for this Nidalee. The turret's gone. Yeah, this is first turret down. All 5 plates. The Shy is in such a dominant position in this game. You had to know you were opting into this matchup if you were Shanji, but this lead continues to grow. It's about a 35 CS lead and all 5 plates and first turret for the Shy. So definitely enabling him going forward, but Dragon has spawned. That definitely looks to be the next objective to bring up for both of these teams. Invictus is obviously in a much better spot to be able to fight this out. Not only do they have a lot of damage going for them, but look at the gold difference. He's a full 1,200 up on anyone else in the game.
Now here's the thing though, is that when the Shy's not in a fight, NIP actually are on even footing in terms of gold. So that is where they're going to have to try to focus their resources, especially as this Dragon has been started up. Going to be trying to go forward. Gala already at 500 HP, but now the Shy has joined the fight. Nature's Wrath comes out. It'll try to lock down members of IG and force them away as the Dragon is secured by a Ninja's Gala in the mid lane. And right now, Aki only using that ultimate a couple of times so far in this game, and he's going to try to at least force something here on the Rift Herald, as not everybody on IG is really here to respond. Also, with the Shy taking a timer to go mid, it actually allows for Doinby and Shanji to take the entirety of this tier 1 turret. So a couple of good plays going towards NIP.
Would be big for NIP to gather this. That's one of the ways they can offset their lack of immediate damage in the late game, is just entirely through Soul here because it's Infernal. And so it really does help out a lot. But we can see Aki potentially being the target here.
And it's not enough follow-up just yet, as Gala is still separated, as we actually get to see the Shy getting focused down by Shanji in the 1v1.
Oh,
Flash follows. Is that going to be enough to take him down? One more E should kill him. He heals up, but will smack him down with a Q, and he'll immediately teleport mid lane to join the fight. IG now going to be fighting a 4v5. They might have to give up this Dragon up. That was entirely done by Shanji.
That is a gigantic play from Shanji. The Rift Herald going to get dropped just maybe as a bit of a distraction here as it goes mid lane, but priority still going to NIP on this Dragon. There's no way to contest this if you're Invictus Gaming, and it's not just a kill on the top side. That is a ginormous shutdown going over to Shanji. So much gold in his pocket, and we could potentially be seeing, I would say, a fight here, but not really a ton to fight for. But that, you're right, 3 dragons, but very intrigued to see the Otacon priority here from Invictus. It does look like it's just going to be Jeja and the Shy trying to take this down. Rookie, of course, making his way up, but we can see a potential collapse coming in from NIP.
Big spikes on the big carries for IG as well. Gala just picked up his Flicker Blades, as well as Rookie, who has 2 items. Looks like that Otacon is just bursting down really quickly. NIP, I feel like they barely even knew this was happening. The Blue Ward just comes out way too late. The Prio will instead be here onto this mid lane tower. They send Doinby in to try to take it down. We also see Shanji pushing down to the bot lane, but now there's false lives on everybody for IG for a potential fight around the Dragon Soul that would go to NIP if they pick it up.
Yeah, that's a massive get for IG. A really nice play there. Jeja and the Shy just being very confident in starting it basically on spawn. And no real answer, but we see a teleport coming in, potential flank.
Here's Rookie. He has a lot of damage here. He dashes underneath the turret, playing with his life because he knows it's just a false one. That takes PP God down. And with the Dragon spawning about a minute and change, it's a big pick to set up vision around the bottom side.
Yeah, that's the kind of pick that I think this team needs to be making. Quite frankly, that's the kind of pick that I think Ninjas in Pajamas have needed to make for a little while, but it's a really nice play, very heads up. It's a nice use of the teleport there from Rookie. Should have more than enough time to be able to get back for this fight, and just getting more gold onto the people that need it, of course.
Caught out by JJ. Remember, still the Otacon revives available as Doinby throws out the stolen away Sejuani ulti, looking to do a little bit of damage here. Takes JJ down, which will send him back to base, and he will still be alive, but that will mean that he will be late to this Dragon spawning. NIP still looking to scrap here. Doinby flashing forward here with the Abscond Abduct. PP God following up. NIP going wild here to try to find and engage. They could find another as Mako will drop, but it gets traded back as Aki is now dead. Just the false lives available, but NIP are running away with this one as Gala has to flash out. Everybody on IG will still be back alive. Rookie in the mid lane, hitting onto this mid lane tier 2, and most importantly, the jungler for NIP is down, which means they cannot play for this Dragon.
I would say it's a good play for NIP, but at the end of the day, it's really not. You're basically losing your tier 2 mid for nothing. You're able to pop a lot of those false lives, like you said, but no way to capitalize because your jungler is down. Rookie's going to be able to easily make his way here after taking that mid lane tier 2, and it's the soul going to be delayed by Invictus. You know, this is the huge strength of Otacon. This is the reason that this objective is so prioritized in the current meta, why it felt so important for Jeja. Should have called it off, and it's that over-eagerness, but Baron is up, and we could potentially be seeing some priority here.
Wow, IG going to start this one. Force Shanji to try to move as he's already hitting onto this bottom lane tier 2 turret. Will he teleport in to join a 5v5, or will he just continue to split push? Teleport is going to be the answer here. But the Baron's already taken down very low. Going to be over the wall. Who's going to go into the pit? It's going to be secured by JJ, and the fight has begun in earnest. Going to be steals away the quickness, going to try to just run away for now. Force shot does not go onto a crucial target. Shanji hitting onto the Shy. The W from Leave not going to land. No kills just yet in this one, and a lot of key ultimates already have been used. Both sides are going to back off, and IG get away with highway robbery.
It's Baron 0 for 0. It's the dream scenario for Invictus Gaming. They're able to get
damage. I think maybe the entirety of the turret ended up going down. I don't see the minimap exactly, but I'm sure that's why we're seeing this replay. During that entire Baron fight, the tier 3 turret was taken in the bottom side, so that is an opening maybe for Shanji to find some more split pushing, but it's not going to be for a while as the Baron buff is still in the hands of IG for the next 90 seconds. Aki's going to have to go for a play. Finds twisted advance onto Rookie. He has to go golden, uses the Emperor's Divide to push that IP away, and I think that should be it. The Shy teleports in just for a little bit of a reinforcement. That's stolen Sejuani ultimate only finds Mako. Maiden will go down as IG will begin another push.
Yeah, that's so many resources burned by NIP, and just to keep them off for one wave, it's very difficult at this point to really imagine a world. And I know we haven't talked about it much, but that's an almost 80 CS lead for Rookie in the mid lane.
3,000 kills with Rookie, or sorry, 3,000 gold, not 3,000 kills. Otherwise, the game would be long over.
Yeah, that's less than 15 minutes.
Rookie's the main beneficiary behind all of this, right? He's very, very rich. They're able to pick up the second dragon and prevent the soul for another 5 minutes.
Don't really see any reason for Ninjas in Pajamas to try and take a fight, but as much as we talk about IG getting further and further ahead, 2 kills to 2, a 2k gold lead, but as I say
they've already found the Shy. He's forced to jump away. Now it is going to be another kill taken down as Mako will fall. Finally, the feat of warfare secured for Ninjas in Pajamas.
Yeah, I mean, everything is all up and dandy for IG, so you're not too concerned. This isn't a game-throwing kind of mistake, but this one could be.
Again, caught out. This time the Shy doesn't have the flash.
Oh my God.
And Leave will just shut him down. I don't know how he got caught out there once again, as now the curtain call is going to push Mako and Gala back. Tier 2 now going to be the focus.
Yeah, and it's not just tier 2. Baron is spawning in 15 seconds. The Shy is down for 42. It's a 4v5 on the map right now, and NIP have full control over what they want to do here. They continue to push out the mid wave, but this Baron is theirs to determine what they want to do with. Absolutely no reason for the Shy to be that pushed up with no flash, and it could really cost Invictus.
He's just running mid lane, trying to go for a flank, I guess, like throwing out a Q for fun, and then he gets caught up by a trap. Really nice deadly flourish from Leave, and now it's NIP immediately onto the Baron. That's just gone.
Yeah, it's gone.
JJ doesn't want to go in and sacrifice his life for a potential 50-50, and so that is NIP getting themselves right back into this game.
That is the throw of all throws from Invictus. They were in such a good spot, and it all washes away in 2 plays. We see Jeje and Aki, running into each other here. I don't imagine this turns into much more, although Aki could be by himself. He flashes over the wall, trying to get to Doenby.
Just trying to escape. He gets charmed up, though, as there comes JJ with the Glacial Prison. Gala and Rookie are here, dashing forward onto the Maokai. The tree will get cut down, and so that's 1 trade back that IG can be happy about. But they are facing off. But the curtain call is going to force IG back with the dragon spawning in 5 seconds. Once again, soul on the table for NIP if they can pick it up. They send Shanji with the Baron buff and the Maiden down the mid lane, and will instead look to try to just stop the recalls here for IG. Steal not in the works, as it will be the 3rd Infernal picked up for Invictus, but now they have to escape. JJ and Rookie dash over the wall. Mako falls with the grand exit, and now they're just going to try to stop the backs. Doenby chasing forward with the stolen away quickness. The Shy going to be the target, gets hit up by the Abstando Duck. Meanwhile, Shanji still hitting onto the mid lane inhibitor turret. Everybody on IG running for the hills, and NIP are looking to stop him right now. Deadly Flourish connects onto the Shy, and then Italy will get shut down. Inhibitor taken mid. Finally, Rookie able to get back to base, but NIP playing this back row beautifully, and now the bot lane inhibitor can be the next target.
Yeah, this is as perfectly played as you could possibly ask for Ninjas in Pajamas. Rookie takes forever to get back into the base because at no point can he recall. It's a 4v5.
The ult is at half HP, gets crit up by Leave. Could this be the end of the game without a full team fight ever taking place? The first Nexus Tower is down. Shanji is still really big with the Maiden, not taking a single tick of damage so far. Finally, they will force the ultimate down, and NIP will have to walk away, but they do take the entirety of a Nexus turret, and it seems like they're not done yet.
Back.
Leave looking to try to shut down JJ. One more 4-shot might be able to take him down. He goes back into the fountain. There comes the Azir turret, going to try to keep IG's base alive. They have not gone for the fight. They will have to pull the trigger at some point. Finally, they do. Doinby will shove JJ back. Mako dashes away, still not going to die. The Nexus is exposed, and I think can just hit it. They could just win the series right here, right now. Rookie dashing forward. The Shy is respawned. Glacial Prison goes wide, and now here comes the Shy.
Mako!
Knockup lands in. Doinby will fall, and IG will hold the line. On that right around that bush.
Yeah, this is such a scary situation for Invictus because one wrong move, one pick off, and the game is over. Jeje is going to have to be the only one who can walk up here, but the ult's going to go wide.
It hits my fridge. Deadly Flourish goes in onto the Sejuani. JJ goes down. It's a shutdown picked up for Leave. And now Gala is going to try to do some work here. Knockup gets canceled. Shanji picks up the kill. And IG might be cooked here in this team fight. The Shy is down. Only Rookie's alive. And there's no way he can 1v5 this one. He's going to try to clear out the wave using the Emperor's Divide. But it is sure to cost him his life. He will fall. The kill goes over to Leave. 720 gold, just the icing on top of the cake as NIP. I think they have done it. A wave is pushing in on the bot side. Both Nexus towers have respawned, but the death timers are far too long. This is sure to be it.
This is a gigantic victory for Ninjas in Pajamas. Look at the expression of Doinby. Look at the expression of Leave. Everyone on Ninjas in Pajamas, you can see just how much this means to them, but they're stuck in base right now. They need to wait for some time there, but the Nexus is eventually going to get exposed, and Ninjas in Pajamas with the 2-1.